So, folks, I have the duo that have won the hearts of Canadians with their Juno Award nomination and win for Best Blues Album of the Year. They've been around for quite some time, and as a duo, they were individuals before they became a duo because they were crisscrossing Canada, the U.S., and other parts of the world. Decided, hey, why don't we do this together? So, in a nutshell, how long have you guys been actually Blue Moon Marquis?
About about 10 years at this point is when we first started writing songs together as Blue Moon Marquis and finding our sound.
Hmm. I do know that you guys were recently in Louisiana, uh, which I hope it went well. Can you tell us what brought you to Louisiana? Was it a festival? Was it just something that you were doing as a tour?
We were just down. We just got back last night at 1 in the morning.
Oof.
It was a 20-hour travel day, and but yeah, we've been going down there uh, once a year for the past few years, and kind of just acquired some friends down there. We were down there recording with a guy named Big John Atkinson. You know who that is?
Yes.
Yeah. So we got to record at Big Tone Records with him, and yeah, represent, shout out. Yeah, and just go hang down, experience music, experience the lifestyle, and yeah, the first time we went down there, it was for the what was it, the Folk Alliance, and then Jasmine's been down there before too, but it just feels like a place that we fit in. I mean, I feel right at home there, and yeah.
I know that you both came from different locations in Canada, and then you decided to I'll venture the word move to the BC and currently have a cozy shack that you live in and practice and everything else. Because one of for those that want to know more about the group, there's a video that they have on their channel. That's a short movie based on what Jasmine actually enjoys. She enjoys herbology up to a certain degree, gardening as well, and her partner is in tune with, not to make it as a pun, but he's in tune with motorcycles, very much so.
Yeah, you could say that.
So I know you're Jasmine. You love to play. I think it's this. I want to say stand-up bass, but I think my memory's foggy. But you also do percussions at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you also sing, which is fine and dandy because it really balances out the blistering gruff voice of your partner by giving it some yin yang feel in the music. And I apologize because I know that right now all the literature and the research I did only has your two first initials, and I can't remember your last name.
Cardinal's my last name. Full name is Alexander Wesley Cardinal. We shorten that down to A.W. Cardinal. But if you see me in the street, you could call me Al. Just like the song.
Well, that's fine. Now, your latest album, which I had here and it's been moved around. Can you tell us the album name that won you the Juno?
Yeah, the one that got the Juno this year is called Scream, Holler, and Howl.
Which well deserved. You got nominations as well, and with the Maple Blues Awards, I think you may have won one or two, if not more than that.
Yeah, we won all four main categories. We won Entertainer of the Year, Acoustic Act of the Year, Record of the Year, and
Producer.
Producer of the Year.
Oh, nice.
Songwriter of the year.
Oh yeah,
producer of the
songwriter.
year.
Yeah, songwriter of the year.
Well, both of you write songs together, from what I remember reading.
Yeah.
And you basically bounce ideas or tune. Well, the lyrics usually get bounced around until you come up with something, and then you sit down and decide to put music to it. Uh, for your last album, how long did it take you to actually sit down, record it, mix it, master it, and release it?
Well,
That was
all of it.
I mean, so we spent, I think we got all the recording done in 5 days in the studio.
Yeah, but we took
And
probably
then-
about a year to write the tune.
Yeah, but he didn't say, he said record it and
Well,
mix it. master it.
the writing, the creation of it is as important as everything else. But were you doing this during the pandemic or afterwards?
Yeah, no, during the pandemic. And then, yeah, wrote them over about a year during the pandemic. And then,
Uh-huh.
yeah, apologies. I thought you said,
No, that's okay.
yeah, recording. And then we recorded the whole thing in about 5 days and then took probably 3 to 4 weeks to mix it and master it. It was recorded very quickly, though. It was, yeah, 5 days and everything was done.
And then once the pandemic restrictions were lifted, you guys were out and about touring and promoting the album. Did you have an actual album release party?
We didn't really.
Not really. I mean, we brought Duke Robillard up to co-produce the record, and so we got to play a show with him afterwards. But he came up the following summer, and we played the Vancouver Jazz Festival, folk festival with him. And I don't think we had an official release. I don't think there were that many venues that were kind of open at that time. Because we were just coming out of all the restrictions and stuff.
Okay.
We had thought about it and tried to plan it, but things just kept getting
Sidetracked.
Prolonged, and then things would shut down again. So
Yeah.
have an official release party, really.
Okay. Now, with everything said and done and your accolades and wins, do you currently dabble in other types of music in regards to your styles? I know a lot of it tends to tread the mile on the folk side, but all the albums I've listened to since you guys have started publishing and releasing is pretty much all blues to me. Some of it follows with certain jazz vibes, but I know that you both had various paths before coming together and meshing your styles and personalities. So, have you dabbled in new musical instruments? Because I know he sings, Al sings and plays the guitar. But have you, during the pandemic and time off, have you actually dabbled on learning something new that you might spin into one of your shows?
Well, there's kind of a lot there, but interesting that you say different styles because we actually just recorded a whole album of our songs, a lot of them old ones, but in a style that's more country-esque or country swing, because it all comes from, a lot of our inspiration comes from early swing music, right? Which had elements of blues, jazz.
Well, it wasn't separated back then.
Yeah.
No.
Blues and the jazz was all the same, We didn't separate that stuff until, like, I don't know, 60s.
Yeah, 50s. But anyways, we just recorded this album that's more country leaning, which we had plans to do, as you can see in that documentary you were talking about, if folks want to watch. It's called A Blue Moon Ballad. And we even said then, because Al had started messing, because we both come from, like we singer-songwriter and folk music. We love folk music, and Al had started playing a couple of our songs in a style of kind of country-esque blues folk, and he's like, oh, this works, this is fun, and so we decided to do a whole album in it, just to show that the songs can live many different lives, especially a good song. A good song can live in a lot of different genres and realms. So I'm really excited to release this album, just to show a different flavor, a different side of the music.
So this album was done recently, from what I remember, but it's not released yet, is it?
No, we still want to mix it. We just recorded it just before we went down to New Orleans. I think, yeah, just before then. So.
Okay. And do you have a title for the album?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Well, folks, you heard that they're releasing something new, and I can't wait to actually get my hands on it to play it on the air. But I'm quite happy that you guys enjoy yourselves with this, and that you enjoy what you do in and out of your musical personalities. You're pure-bound Canadians. That's a certainty, because you enjoy what you do and you like sharing it with other people. Other than yourselves, musically speaking, you're human beings, both a man and a woman. Have you developed a personal relationship as well as a band relationship?
What are you asking, Yannick? Are we shacked up?
Are you shacked up?
You're trying to get the dirt. You're trying to get that dirt.
I know. I surprised what's Monkey Junk with that particular question when they were here in Halifax at the Dutch Mason Blues Festival.
You asked them if they had
relationships or an important man or woman behind them, supporting them, helping them, so on and so forth. Pretty much all my musicians are anything but single. They've got families. Matt Dusk, for example, is married. He's got children. The same thing with. I'm trying to think of other artists. Some of the Tinsley Ellis. He's married with a beautiful woman as well that supports him and supports him having to be absent. But you guys travel together, so are you actually a shacked up couple?
Well, I tell you, we're sitting on the couch in our living room. I mean, that should.
Okay, so that answers the question. I tried
to keep this more of a mystery. Everybody always wants to know, and I tried to keep a mystery, but it's funny how many people just want to know so badly.
Well, there's a good reason why. It's because I've never seen you in person, which if I did, I probably would have had a direct indication of how close and how syncopated you guys were. But typically, when you see a band that performs and tours together and they're from the same location, it's very probable that they actually are a couple. I mean, Ellen Dottie, for example, I got to meet her with her ex during that period when she came down to Moncton, and then all of a sudden they separated less than 6 months afterwards, and they went their separate ways because it just wasn't working. But that said, you guys are working quite fine.
Yeah, we've made it work out.
Yeah, well, musically speaking, you have the ante in regards to making things work out. Now, other than being a lovely couple, and I have to say you are lovely people. You're well preserved. You're younger than I am, more than likely, because I'm turning 50 October. Outside of the music and writing, I know that you have your own pastime. So take us through what you typically do when you have time off, which can be flitting in some instances.
Yeah, we were we were just talking about how we have a bit of time at home now. Uh, we really like to fish. We love to go out in nature and be on the water. We have a little boat that we go fishing on the Salish Sea here. We like to river and go, ride our motorcycles to various locations. It's so beautiful out here where we live. The nature that you have access to is just extremely beautiful and powerful. So we like to get out in nature a lot, and Al likes to work on his motorcycles and build motorcycles, as you were saying.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that.
Well,
Uh,
you
but we
must
have,
be looking forward to your garden too, because we saw it in the video.
yeah, I was out there today. I have a lot of things coming up already, but we also have a lot of projects. Like we have the country blues album I was talking about, but we've also been writing a lot, and we have this project that we just recorded in New
In
Orleans.
New Orleans.
Because we were half of it last year, and we just recorded the other half. So that's another album that's going to be coming out live in New Orleans.
That's gonna be
Oh,
cool.
nice.
In live.
Yeah.
It's at Big Tone, so recorded at Big Tone, and it's a whole New Orleans band, piano player, sax player, drummers, all from New Orleans, and
Oh, wow.
we got Big John on there, and it's awesome. I don't know if you know Big Tone Records at all, but he records everything, all the old school gear, everything to tape, all the old
So,
microphones, and it's recorded
okay.
live in one room. It's what you hear is like what you get in that one take.
So he's doing it on analog technology instead of digital.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
nice. The warm feeling you get from that type, it's amazing.
And you get that over to the natural tape saturation and just all the tubes. It's all the tubes and the resistors. It's like Sun Studios or Chess Records, same way they did it back then. And he's such a master at that stuff. He knows that sound so well.
So that said, are we expecting you guys to tour out towards the Atlantic coast?
Well,
I love to, but
yeah, we would love to. It's tricky, but we're going to be playing in Ontario a lot this summer. That's about as far as we're getting
For
this year.
now.
Yeah.
For now. So, folks, I know that a lot of New Brunswickers, if they've got time and money, they typically go to the venues to actually see the bands. The Mont-Tremblant in Quebec is typically one of them. Here, they've started up new projects in regards to blues and jazz events, folk events. I mean, the Paddle Fest in Perth Andover is one of those that actually allows some form of touring. Matt Anderson is always there at least once a year. So
we did just play in Halifax at the Carlton a few weeks ago. We had for Juno Fest, but
while the Junos
we had a sold out show there at the Carlton.
Yeah, because you guys, your name brings out a lot of people. I mean, you're not as much as you're just a duo. I find that a lot of people, be it single or duo, if they've got the talent, if they've got the capacity of entrancing listeners, bringing them into the fold of, I don't want to say worship, but it's almost that. When we love artists such as yourselves, we enjoy the company, being in your company, and having you share your time and energy in doing what you love doing, which is amazing, so to speak. Now, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. 2 projects coming out, 2 new albums that are going to be probably attracting a lot of attention. The Louisiana one is going to be a big seller and a big big magnet for people that actually enjoy that type of music. I can't wait to hear it myself.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
But from what I remember, you guys tour with vehicles, do you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so you drove all the way down to Louisiana and then drove
Oh,
back.
we flew this time. We don't
Okay.
strictly tour with a van all the time. Like we'll do fly-in shows here or there, but you know, I prefer to drive, but sometimes you can't drive over the ocean, you know.
True. Any Europe destinations for your touring this year?
Not this year. We decided we're going to take a year off from flying overseas. We toured so much. You know, we've done 5 European tours in the last 6 or 7 years, and we also were in Australia. And the international flying it's really stressful and it's a lot of work, and so we really enjoy it, but yeah, we're taking a little bit of time off from that. Maybe next year we'll go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically a hiatus from actually doing flying overseas. So we'll have the fun of actually monopolizing on your personalities and music here in Canada. We got
Yeah.
that benefit.
We're focusing on North America, Canada and the US this year, and probably a lot of next year, because we have those 2 albums we told you about, but we also have another project that we're recording next month,
Wow.
which is even in a different vein, and that's going to be
So I guess I could say we're recording. We're gonna do some recordings with the Northern Cree powwow singers. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah. So the idea is taking older Delta style blues, and kind of not infusing it, more so like taking it back to uh, an indigenous root, like along with drumming and the singing. Have you seen the documentary Rumble?
Yes, I have.
So, I think it's Rumble, the what is it?
The Indians Who Rock the World.
And so we're kind of playing around with that idea. Tell her about the Charlie Patton. There's
a part in the video, perhaps you recall, with a woman. Her name is Pura Fay, and she sings with Our Native Daughters. And she is listening to a Charlie Patton record and the melody he's singing, and she talks about how it is basically an old indigenous song. Like she sings along to it, she knows the melody, so it is that the First Nations impact was there right along at the very first genesis of the Delta blues and all the jazz that was coming in from the transatlantic slave trade that was bringing these people over. It was their songs as well as mixing with the indigenous music that was already here, and it had a huge part in the early stylings of blues and jazz, and that hasn't really been highlighted as much as it should be, I feel like. And she is almost laughing at it at one point, because she's like, and she sings along to it. She said, this is a ancient indigenous song, traditional song that has been there for who knows how many hundreds or thousands of years. People have been singing that, and then Charlie Patton weaves it with his Delta blues style, and it becomes that sound, that moaning sound, or that, so it's such a beautiful connection. And with Al's indigenous heritage, we really wanted to go back and mine that history more and connect those two lineages, those roots. So we're really, really excited about that. And that's going to be a collaborative project with yeah.
That's awesome, actually, because we all know, unfortunately, about the past that's happened to a lot of indigenous communities with the schools and the abuses and the murders and the disappearances and whatnot. But I mean, the fact that you guys are doing this is, I don't have any words for it. It's amazing. I'm
Yeah,
quite happy that you're going to be doing it, but I'm going to be even quite happier about hearing it once it's finished.
yeah,
Yeah, it's I have to say that the demos and the ideas we have there, it's really, really powerful.
yeah. I mean, I guess for reference, like there's old blues tunes that I've heard that are very reminiscent to that kind of sound, you know, like Little Walter's "Rolling and Tumbling," or
Mhm.
yeah, his version is kind of like you can kind of hear that powwow style drum beat back there, and they're hooting and hollering and moaning and doing, you know, the Native American powwow music is very call and response. You know, they always say that in the blues. The blues is call and response. You know, it's just like that's what they've been doing. You know, for such a long time. And then for me to work with the Northern Cree singers is great because that's where my band is from, is Beaver Lake Cree Nation, and
Mhm.
not too far from each other. So it's going to be a chance for me to get back to my heritage and kind of connect through music back to my lineage, you know. So that's uh, apart from the music I'm excited about. I'm excited just to be there and listen to the stories and maybe learn some traditional songs as well, and just be part of it. You know, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I know it's going to be great. You guys haven't had any failings in the past, and the fact that you got 3 projects on the go is beyond me because I
The
have a
fourth
hard
one
time
too.
waking up in the morning and going to work.
Well, there's a fourth one too because we're gonna be doing our next major studio album by the end of next year, around January. We're looking to record, and that one's
I,
still in the works. So
That will be a continuation of these are all the three we mentioned are
project.
more side projects, and but the
Mhm.
continuation of Scream Holler Howl and Blue Moon Marquis, that progression, we're recording that album. That's gonna happen in January of next year.
In
So
January
yeah,
2025.
yeah.
So 4 new albums from
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're
Now
busy.
with that said, you guys have to feed your souls with lots of positive energy. But just speaking of feeding, do you have any favorite dishes that you guys like to chow down on?
Oh.
Well, we were just down in New Orleans, and there's this place called The Joint down there, and they do barbecue. We had barbecue like every single night we were there. Like we
Well,
not every night,
well.
but we had a lot. Yeah,
Close.
uh, yeah.
But at home,
I,
what do you actually enjoy, if anything?
oh yeah, I
Um,
mean, we like to eat really fresh and local as much as we can. I
yeah,
like to eat out
Okay.
of the garden. Obviously, you can't do that all year, but like I said, we
No.
love to go fishing and we catch Dungeness crab
yeah, prawns,
and prawns,
salmon.
salmon, and
Yeah,
yeah, eat as local and as fresh as we can.
yeah. No, there's nothing better than going out catching some fish and crab, coming home, cooking it up, and eating it. It's the best.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the best. Like fresh salmon that caught that day is yeah, that's one
It,
of my
it
favorite.
has a sweeter flavor from what I've been told.
Well, it
Hmm.
just tastes like the ocean. You can taste the freshness of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly, on my side, I'm more. It's more like land fish for me. It's beef, chicken. Although I'm trying to go a little bit more plant-based because
Yeah.
of my health. But that said, I've tried every single seafood that's available on the market, and even some that are slightly foreign. The closest I got to eat, other than salmon and semi-raw scallops, it was ceviche, which
Oh yeah.
was an experience because I was at the seaside, and we were with friends. I was married. I'm no longer married, but her family and the friends went out and fished. They caught fresh fish. They prepared the fresh fish, and then it was fresh ceviche.
Mm.
Literally fresh ceviche, and I've never had ceviche.
Oh,
It was an experience. I ate the whole bowl almost to myself.
it's one of my favorites. I love ceviche. I love and like Mexican food and
Oh, yeah.
tacos
I
and
mean,
pico de gallo ceviche. That's one of my favorite foods, dude.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty tough to stay healthy when you love food so much. I mean, I love eating. I love good food.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
try to do a lot of plant-based as well. I like to eat, as many vegetables as I can. I plant a lot of fresh vegetables in the garden.
Good salad. Sometimes it's impossible not to eat a good salad when you've got your own garden. You just pick what you need and you make whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
So
You're
that's the
making me
fun thing.
hungry. I need to eat.
Just out of curiosity, what kind of vegetables do you have currently growing?
Well, I was gonna say I just went out and harvested some asparagus today. The fresh asparagus is coming out. I like to eat it just right out of
Wow.
the garden.
So good.
But I have spinach and it's still early, but I have spinach and romaine lettuce.
Garlic's coming out.
Our garlic's like 2 or 3 feet tall now. Yeah. And a lot of fresh herbs. I have a huge fresh herb garden as well. I'm just looking out at it when I'm saying that. So yeah, and the peas are coming up. The peas are about 2 or 3 inches now. So
yeah, your weather is good. Well, actually, I want to say all of Canada this year, the weather was moderate when it came to winter here in New Brunswick. Typically, we get slammed by the hail and a whole bunch of snow, that the weather bombs that come galore.
yeah.
But this year, compared to the last year and the year prior, it I'm quite happy that it was this moderate because there's less of an issue to shovel and get stuck in.
Yeah.
But it also means that if you love doing snowmobiling, or like myself, where you can go out and snowshoe,
Yeah.
snowshoeing in grass and dirt is not the same as snowshoeing in fresh snow or even hardpack.
No.
That's
Yeah.
Well, I think we've pretty much covered things that were unsaid and then that are known. But thank you so much for taking this time. I know you guys were busy, and one of you fell ill and had to recoup and everything. That was just not jiving for time frames. But the fact that you made time for this interview is heartwarming, to say the least. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful, restful period since you've just come back. And I hope that your touring goes well. I'll keep my pulse on your website. Oh, by the way, folks, if you want to support them, the best way of doing it is like any other musician. You can buy their material directly from their website, which is bluemoonmarquis.ca, or is it .com?
.com.
.com.
Yeah.
You can also purchase it online if you want to do so. You can also stream them like gangbusters on all the streaming platforms that they're available on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a chance to actually go and see them in person, I sincerely encourage you to do so.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Yannick.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.